How to stop feeling jealous. This is my biggest vice. This is the thing that I struggle with the most in my entire life. It's looking at other people's success and feeling a tinge of jealousy that they just got lucky. Oh, they just have the talent, they have the knack to do it. They don't really deserve it, and I want what they have. I don't know how they have it and why I don't have it. Just the feeling of jealousy. One of the biggest struggles in my life for sure. And so I'm kind of making this video for myself, trying to break down the behaviors and the principles and the frames of minds surrounding jealousy and how you can kind of flip the script a little bit and to maybe alleviate some of that jealousy that you feel whenever you look at other people and look at what they have achieved compared to what you have. So the first thing is, this one helps me a lot, was to realize that nobody else is watching you but you, right? I feel like a lot of jealousy stems from the fact that we care so much about how we're perceived. We feel jealous because we want other people to see us in a certain way, in a positive way, and as a result, it becomes this whole negative association and a really just toxic cycle where we're just trying to impress other people. We're just trying to do these impressive things, achieve great things, and do all this shit just because we want to be perceived a certain way. We want people to think of us in a certain way. And the moment I realized that I am the most self-critical of myself, I'm the only one that's actually watching myself, and I realized that everyone is so unbelievably selfish, right? Everyone is selfish. Everyone wants what is best for them, right? Everyone wants what's best for them, right? Literally me speaking in this video is selfish because I am projecting my views of the world and my opinions out onto the fucking internet, and some of you might be listening, some of you might be watching, and you get to hear this, and I get to tell you that the way I want to tell you it, and it's almost selfish in a way because I'm trying to almost convince you that this is the way, this is the truth, this is what you need to believe. But I've kind of had a change of heart. I don't think that like creating content and personal branding is about trying to convince someone to change. It's about just sharing your life and sharing your perspective, right? So many people just like in the comments, right, of really famous podcasts, they just hate, right? Have no respect whatsoever. They have formed their own opinions, and if someone doesn't have that opinion, they absolutely berate. They absolutely have a barrage of negative things to say. And I think it's that stems from a deep-seated jealousy, right? A deep-seated jealousy that they have of that person, right? A jealousy that person has had the balls to actually say that on camera, that millions of people would listen to. Like, it's just jealousy that they have the platform. It's jealousy of the person, and I've been victim of this, right? I've been a victim of just disagreeing with people and just like I didn't publicly voice my opinion. I just kept it kind of bottled up, buried it, and just like I thought these negative things about people. I felt jealous about them. I felt like they didn't deserve it. I deserved it instead. I thought these negative things. I just never voiced them. And so me realizing that I am my harshest critic was such a great reframe, because it took the pressure off of having to perform, having to put on a mask for other people. Because now I literally could care less about what people think about me. I could give less of a shit about what anybody thinks. And so it allows me to say what I think, even if it might be controversial, even if nobody agrees. I just say it anyway because this is what I believe. This is what my opinion is. It might not be backed by science, but it's backed by what I believe and what I value. And that is the only thing I care about, right? The next principle for stopping these feelings of jealousy is it's just realizing that some people that you see achieving these things just have a competitive advantage that you could never have had, right? Think about a basketball player. 7 foot tall, they're born tall, that's genetic. Like, you can't control that. They have a competitive advantage that makes them better at basketball than you. There's nothing you can do about that. There's talent. People are born with the vocal cords that are angelic, you know? You can't control that. That's genetic. You can't control some of these variables. Some people are just naturally more talented because of things that they got lucky with, you know? They won the genetic lottery. And you can't really control these things, so it should help you to find solace in the fact that these people are better than you, but that's because of these factors that you really couldn't have controlled. Yes, they might have worked hard, but anybody can work hard, right? And that's actually what we're going to talk about next. It's how to reframe jealousy as a motivator for hard work, right? So anybody can have a talent. Anybody can be born with some certain attribute that makes them more suitable to do a certain thing and makes them better than you inherently. But not everyone has the work ethic. Not everyone has the drive to put in the work, to grind and to put in the hours, right? Very few people actually are willing to do that. And so if you're the type A, if you're motivated and you want to completely work yourself to the ground and outwork them, then you put yourself on the same playing field as them. You can be, I mean, think about the athletes, right? You can tell, like think Kobe, right? He's talented, but he's not the most talented. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he wasn't the tallest, you know. But he still outworked everybody, and that made him a legend. That put him in an echelon above most of the players in the fucking NBA, right? And he just outworked them. And so when you realize that jealousy could be one of the biggest motivators for you to just work harder, right? Because there is a potential outcome where if you just put in enough work, you can reach a threshold where you're at their level, you're at their capability, right? You're not just because you're not talented, just because you weren't born with the vocal cords to sing like George Strait, you are still capable of reaching the same echelon. You might not be as good, but you can reach that point where you can be in the same league, right? You can still be in the NBA. You might just not be as good as Jordan was because you just didn't have the size of his hands. You didn't have his athleticism, right? You didn't have his genetics. But you can still be in the NBA, right? You can still be there just by working hard, by hustling, by putting your best foot forward. And so jealousy is just about reframing things. It's about reframing your perception of jealousy, right? Realizing that nobody else is watching you besides you. Realizing that some people just have a competitive advantage because of their genetics and because of variables that are out of both of your control. And realizing that you can frame jealousy as a reason to work hard, right? So just reframe all of these perceptions. And I wish someone was there to tell me about this whenever I was going through the phases of my life. And I was looking at these people and just feeling super jealous of what they achieved and thinking to myself about how I just wasn't good enough and I would never be good enough. And yeah, I think jealousy has been a huge struggle for me. I'm still struggling through it, I think, but it's been better. And these principles have helped. So I hope it helps you. Goodbye.